I'm Zachary Gibson. This is my persuasive speech. Today I want to talk about the quality of education and how it is more important than the cost. How many of you have children in school or have recently graduated from a secondary schooling institution? Did you notice any differentiation between the cost of education and its quality? Now we will talk about how the United States looks at these things. The United States places more emphasis on international relations. Education of the youth of the U.S. is becoming more crucial as the world becomes more of a mixing pot with individuals of all backgrounds coming together. The quality of the U.S. education has become more evident. Technological advances lead the way in the career sector as many believe this is the future. With this economical direction in mind, it is important for students to be introduced to much math and sciences in order to be competitive with the rest of the world. Our nation focuses on other countries more and encourages strong relationships between the U.S. and other countries. As a nation, our relations with other countries are very important to keep peace, but I believe more emphasis and funds should be directed toward our youth, the future of our nation. One of my family members recently traveled abroad to a student international diplomatic convention. She shared with me the main points that she noticed during her trip. There were more than 100 students from around the world. Most of these students were from undeveloped countries such as Uganda. The students from countries such as these were more knowledgeable than the Americans that were present. These ideas were very surprising to me since many of these countries lack the technological advances of developed countries. These accounts caused me to stress the importance of our nations recognizing and placing more importance on education. The government plays a vital role too. The government plays a large role in this issue. Government tells teachers what to teach. Having grown up in the public education system, I have realized the strong influence that the government has on education. Although one may think that a centralized educational system would be beneficial, the U.S.'s public educational system is not, because the intellectual level of students varies to a large extent. It is vital to cater to each student's needs. The U.S. neglects to do this. In order to save an extra penny, the U.S. caters to all students equally, which usually means dumbing down the material so all can understand. This hinders many students, especially those with unending intellectual abilities. It hires teachers based on the salary they must pay them rather than the quality of their knowledge. Again, the government plays a role. The shortage of funds provided to the educational system causes low salaries for teachers. Many teachers that are needed to teach are overqualified for such a salary, resulting in teachers that are less capable to be hired. This causes students' education to be limited. The U.S. News Bureau report states that the cost issues are looming. The issues about the delivery model and our inability to invest a lot more public or private resources in higher education, given the high cost. Suggests that we've got some major redesign to do. Quality of education is more important than the cost it imposes. If we as Americans do not begin to realize this soon, our nation is going to fall tremendously. We're going to be technologically and socially inferior to other nations. According to the San Francisco Chronicle news article, the most important thing America needs to do to improve its schools is invest in a more knowledgeable and skillful teaching force. In order to accomplish this, though, the funds must be made available. The difference in education around the world. Difference between the U.S. and Japan. The average Japanese child spends most of their time studying. According to a book by Johnson & Johnson, Japanese students spend 240 days a year at school, 60 more days than Americans' counterparts. The Japanese educational system is standardized based on a national system rather than the state system that the United States follows. The average American child spends most of their time playing rather than learning. The American youth concentrate too much of their time on sports and TV. Yes, it is important to be physically active and healthy, but there comes a happy medium where knowledge is key to success in the world. This statistic is going to play a major role in the future of America. As future leaders of America, we should take a stand and encourage our youth to spend more time in education and show them the importance of a strong education. Neither children nor adults value education with the high price tag that it carries. More people will become teachers, lawyers, engineers, and doctors than will become professional ball players. Children should be informed of this and set their priorities, while parents should always promote study and enhancement of education. Now let's review. If we do not take a stand now, we will fall short in the international economy. The future of our nation depends on today's youth. So we should teach them to enjoy learning. The government should realize the importance of education and promote teaching. Are there any questions?